How's it going, everyone? We are back with another weekly watch list for this upcoming week in the stock market. Thank you so much for tuning into the video. If you're new here, I appreciate you. If you're returning, I appreciate you just as much as well. So let's get into this. It's going to be what I'm looking for the upcoming week. SPY, QQQ, IWM. Those are the three names that I day trade. So I want to break down my system a little bit here for those that maybe are new. The white lines or levels that you will see will be previous day high and low. If they're stretched out farther, it just means that they were also at previous level as well. Green is going to be any areas of demand. Red is going to be any areas of supply. It keeps it extremely simple and easy to read. So let's get into it. So just kicking things off with SPY, break it down to the 15-minute time frame first. This is where I marked my previous day high and low on. And again, where we rejected on Friday was up in this 599, 600 area like zone that was already on my chart. So I did not make a new zone since we already rejected it. It was from here, from a couple weeks ago. So it stays on the chart. So let's go back to the 15-minute. As far as levels go, first area for a bounce is going to be at, of course, the previous day low, which was also a previous high in the past. Under that, we do have a 2-hour supply that I'm really liking from that news move, I believe on Friday. It was a Friday morning. So we have this 2-hour demand that formed here at this 593 on ES as well. So I'm going to be watching that. If we do break below the previous day low, yes, there is room down, but I would be very cautious of going short here as we do have this demand. Plus, from the impulse move from the news, we do have the 61 fib here in the zone as well. That looks pretty good for a bounce. If we're going to come create a new higher low, that looks like the area to do it. So we'll see. Underneath that demand, my next demand zone is going to be at 590, 589, and then down here at 585, 584. All right. As far as resistance goes, we have a big supply zone up here, which was at once this 602 support that we bounced several times. We had the FOMC news that ripped us down through it. This would be already came up and retested it once and moved back down again. So this 602 supply, this 4-hour supply zone, I'll be looking at for rejection in this area. If we keep continuing up, obviously price isn't going to go up forever. So I'd be looking for a rejection in this area. Let's go over to ES. It's obviously going to look pretty similar. So over on ES and Q, I don't trade futures, but I do use them as confluence for my trades. I just mark basic supply and demand. So on ES, the only thing we have is this 2-hour supply zone here. That does line up with SPY as well. All right. We did reject this previous supply. So if we get over that, there's a little bit of room up here to 60, 67. However, that's going to line up right where we kind of have that rejection zone on SPY as well. Right. So if we come up here, this is actually going to be that like 602 level. This is going to be more so the all-time high supply that we have on the S&P on SPY. But this level here, the support to resistance flip that we did reject off as well with this wick, you know, that is going to line up more with that supply zone on SPY. So I'll be watching that closely, okay? Let's go over to QQQ. So QQQ, I did have a trend line that I was watching this past week as well on this 4-hour. Came across all the way across here from these points here. However, we did break above that this past week. So we'll see if we keep trending up. As far as supply and demand goes, I do have a 4-hour supply zone here. So this is pretty obvious. 4-hour supply. We're coming up and just about rejecting it now. So if we come down to 15-minute, we have the previous day high here at 523. But with that supply zone just above it, which is a 4-hour supply and daily supply, I'm not going to be looking at longs unless we get over this level. And even then, just as a whole, I'm a little cautious on longs because of the daily supply that we're about to be in here, right? Man, that is an unbelievable daily looking candle there. That's fucking crazy. But anyways, this daily supply here, as we come up in this daily supply, I will be expecting a bit of a rejection, a bit of a pullback. So we will see what we get. I am going to be cautious with any longs in this area. I'd much rather see price get above this supply zone here, this 4-hour supply, really even above this 528. But with there, we have a bunch more room heading back up. All right. So we are in this daily supply. I'm not marking out the whole zone. It would just be too big of a zone. But again, we do have that 4-hour supply inside the daily supply. That's what I'll be watching for if we get a rejection in this area. And then above that, of course, we have the 527. And then we have another previous day high above here at 531. So on that note too, like some of these areas of previous demand, supply, whatever, there are also just other previous day lows that maybe we haven't retested or whatever. So for example, like we had a previous day high here from Tuesday. We ripped through it in the pre-market with the news. Last week was just so much pre-market news. All the moves last week were in the pre-market. It was really unfortunate. It ended up being a red week for me as well. Maybe that has something to do with it. The action was not as great during the day. I had 3 trading days, stayed cash Friday, and I believe it was Tuesday was the day. Was Tuesday the day of the market? Oh, Tuesday I did not trade, and I was cash Friday. So I only had 3 trading days, did have a red day on each of them. The action, if you traded this week, was not very strong, but we did get a lot of moves in the pre-market. So we'll see if that cleans up this week. Anyways, that said, though, I would like to say that I am out of 10 trading days so far since January 1st. Have not had a single day break any rules whatsoever. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. You know, I was very, very nicely green on the month, still coming into this week. Or not even, I was very nicely green by the end of the first week of January. And then I had a very small red week in week 2, like $90, $80, something like that. So then I was still nicely green heading into week 3. And with the red week, this past week, that ended up bringing me down into slight red. So nothing crazy, but with the 3 red days, I believe I had 2 winning trades and I believe 4 or 5 losers. It did bring me into just slight red now. So it is what it is. Literally, my wins, based off my trading stats that I do use on TradeZella, my wins are about double my losses right now. My win rate was just poor this week, and that's what did it. So 1 win will bring me back nicely into green. So we'll see if we can get that this week. So on QQQ, same thing. We have this previous day high, previous day low. If we do break under the previous day low, there is a decent bit of room down till we hit our next demand, which is also going to be this 2-hour, hit the wrong chart. This 2-hour zone. Where is my 2-hour? My blind, there it is. This 2-hour zone here that we had from the news. This looks like a solid demand. So I'll be looking for price to make a bounce in this area. So we'll head over to NQ. Over on NQ, very similar look, very, very simple, clean, clear cut 2-hour supply here. So I'll be watching for rejection in that area. Again, we also have this 2-hour demand here. So I'll be watching for a bounce in that area as well. I did keep this fib on the chart. We did have this perfect fib bounce here as well. Again, happened in the pre-market, so it didn't matter. Anyways, love that. Let's go over to IWM. IWM, though, lots of room over the previous day high. So if we do break over this previous day high, we have a lot of room back up to this next supply, the FOMC supply, between 230 and 233. All right, the main supply is going to be up here at 232 to 233. However, we did have this nice previous day low support area, so I am keeping it on the chart. My blue lines are just potential marks, right? Potential levels I don't want to remove off the chart, right? Under the previous day low, we got a decent amount of room down back to 222, and under that, we have a daily gap and 1-hour demand here, right? So this demand zone from the news, very, very clear as well. If we do break under 222, I would expect a bounce in this area, all right? Hopefully just not in the pre-market. So anyways, all right, that's going to wrap it up for the watch list. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing you all a great week. I know the market is closed tomorrow, but outside of that, wishing you a great week inside and outside the market. And I will see you all in the next watch list. Peace.